What up, YouTube? It's Hank from Bikes, Bumps, and Banter. If this is your first time stopping by, well, thanks for dropping in. And if you're a repeat offender, well, thanks for coming by. The usual video preamble. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It helps grow the channel, and especially if you like to see great content between wrenching and riding. And if you know anybody can benefit from any one of my videos, please feel free to share them. For all of us that have a 23.5 newer Street Glide, Road Glide, CVO, and we have that one single USB connection up front. On the Street Glide, it's in the tray. On the Road Glide, it's in the right-hand cubby. That acts as our USB charging station. It acts as our USB memory stick reader, and guys are putting bypasses on them. And have you ever wondered, like, can I get an extra power source on my bike? Well, I wanted to find a power source. I did a bunch of digging, and I've got something for you guys. Stick around if you want to see it. All right, thanks for sticking with me so far. As usual, my bike is dirty. Remember what I said before? I'm a rider, not a polisher. The reason why I'm doing the video now is we were actually out riding this afternoon, and I have my X5 going. Out of the 3 batteries in my X5, I've got one that doesn't last very long, and I actually didn't have it marked, and that's the one I had in there. It died halfway through the ride, so I missed most of the ride. I used to actually run a cable down inside my tray and plug into my tray, but then I can't listen to my USB music. And that cable that was in the tray has been ruining the foam on the tray, which I'm now going to have to replace. So when we get back, I already ordered all the parts and pieces that I need to do this, and we're just going to run through it. First off, I'm not taking credit for this idea. When I started looking to figure out how I could power the bike, I came across a guy on YouTube called In the Friction Zone, and he's already done it. I'll give you a piece of advice that he gave me. I'll actually link down below to his YouTube if anybody wants to go check him out. I'm glad that he's given us the warning, because when we get to the polarity part, I would never have thought of it, and thank God somebody did. So I'm gonna turn this off, I'm gonna rip off the seat, and we'll get to what we're doing. Under the seat of all the new era touring models, you'll find these 2 heated gear connectors right here. Now these connectors are DC 5525 connectors. These are only powered on when the bike is actually powered on. So they're switched power. So instead of wiring something to the battery and adding connectors and putting in fuses or relays, we can actually connect right to these DC 5525 connectors, and we have switched power. Now the problem is getting from the DC 5525 to SAE in order to power any device. So like I said, when I scoured the internet and YouTube, that's when I found In the Friction Zone, and he's already done this. And that's why I'm borrowing his idea, and I'm giving him complete credit for it. The first thing you want to find is a DC 5525 connector to SAE. Most of these connectors, this end, you got to be very careful. Although they may say they're 5525, this end won't fit. This one I found, it does fit. I'll put the link down below to Amazon.ca where I found it. I'll look and see if there is an Amazon.com equivalent to it. The problem is these are not actually made for what we're using them for. These are usually used for like solar panels. So the polarity is wrong. So the next thing you need to do is to get a polarity changer. And when I was on Amazon, I found it was easier or cheaper to buy a 5-pack of polarity changers than to buy a single one. So now I've got extras. And the last thing you're going to need is some way to get that power to USB-C. So the battery tender plug connector, this is a smart plug. It automatically reads the device that it's plugged into, and it changes the voltage accordingly. Once we have these all switched in and plugged in, they work fine. So the first thing we're going to do is pull out our heated gear connector, and we're going to take our DC to SAE plug it in. I've got a nice good solid fit in there. Make sure that on our SAE plug, we're going to put our polarity switcher on. Our polarity is now changed. We're going to take our USB plug. We're going to plug that in. Everything's in nice and tight. Once you get this in place, I mean, it is a lot of cable, but there are places you can tuck this in, wrap it around so it's sitting nice if you want it. The last thing we do is a test after assembly. Grab my old iPhone because I don't want to blow up anything new. Like I said, I've already done this. I already know it works. Pull out the plug it in, iPhone starts to charge. We have switched power. As soon as I turn the power off on the bike, Well, I don't know if you can see that there or not, but it has stopped charging. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Now that this is here, what a lot of people are using this for is doing the CarPlay bypass. I actually have a bypass unit, which I'll show you in the next video. So the second option for changing the polarity would be to actually cut the wires and flip them around. Since I plan on running the wires all the way up under the tank and have my USB port up at the very front of the tank, what I did is I cut the connector and I spliced in a chunk in the wire in the middle. So what I did on one end is I went black to red and red to black, which is going to change the polarity. I've already tested this cable. It does work with the polarity flip. Now I'm going to run it up under the tank. I did buy 2 complete sets of the wires and the USB plug. My goal is to have the one USB plug out the back, easy to accessible for anything I want to put at the back to charge. The other one, like I said, I've extended this cable. I'm going to run it under the tank. There's 4 T40s that hold the tank down, 2 here, 1 either side in the front. I've already removed those bolts. Now I'm going to raise the tank up so I can get this wire in underneath. So have you ever been in the military? You know the old saying, you know, the best battle plan never survives the first engagement with the enemy. Or, you know, every fight plan is the same until somebody punches you in the face, right? So just to give you an idea, tank is up, piece of giant Jenga holding it in place. I couldn't wedge nothing in the front, so I had to use my hand to hold it up while I fed the wire back. I've got the wire running from the back all the way to the front. When I got to the front, my original plan was just to put it right on the frame neck up here. And then I realized I had enough that I could go up in behind here, so I took this off. I've got it up right now. It's sitting on the handlebar, but I haven't really decided if this is where I really want it to be. It kind of takes out the clean look, and yes, I've got other stuff already attached to my handlebar, so whether the handlebar looks clean or not, it's probably not a big deal. It's just in my mind, I'd like to have it where it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. I may pull it back and put it back down on the neck. The way the SAE connector and the USB adapter hook together, you got a rigid part that's about this long, and it's really hard to do anything with it. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to fiddle with it, and once I've decided where I'm going to put it, I'll show you the end result. I'll hook that up to my X5 and show you that it does work. So after a lot of soul searching and some very choice words, what I finally decided to do is kind of go back to what I originally decided. So I actually have put it down here on the neck. You really can't see it that well in the video. I'll see if I can zoom in the post-production. I'm going to double-sided Velcro it here so I can pop it anytime I want. What I also did was the second one, I've got it here in the back so it's under the seat. That way I can run any extra power out the back or anything I want to do. It kind of gives me a little more flexibility just to show you guys that it does work. The X5 actually powered on without the battery, so the power source is working. I'm going to do a little more playing with routing some of this cables to make it look nicer. The goal would be to have this tucked in, or I'm going to go buy a shorter cable. I've got a bunch of Velcro zip ties, and I usually Velcro zip tie this down the pole. Like I said, the whole goal originally for this was I needed a switched power source for my X5. If you watch any of my riding videos, you realize my X3, I had a lot of power issues with the batteries. I lost a lot of great video because of it. I ran into the same thing today with the X5 if one of my batteries is bad. This way, we've got a big trip coming up. I'll be able to film the entire thing, and then I'll have hundreds of hours of video to go through to give you guys the best shots. So if you're following along this far, thanks for hanging out with me. This is how to use the heated gear plugs as a switched power source. I hope somebody finds this useful. Again, a big thanks to In the Friction Zone, because he actually scoured the internet first and found the stuff, and I just kind of piggybacked on what he did. Again, thank you guys for watching this far. As I always say, keep your rubber side down, keep your shiny side up, and stay frosty, my friends. Oh, and I'll catch you guys later.